Tonight, Qantas customers learning if their details have been stolen by hackers. The incident sparking concerns about overseas call centres. A northern New South Wales man dies of the state's first recorded case of bat lyssavirus. Exposed to attack, defence experts raise concerns about Australia's military arsenal. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs cleared of the most serious charges against him. And point to prove, the Blues forward on a mission to stop Maroons captain Cameron Munster.
This is NBN News with Natasha Beyersdorf.
Good evening. Qantas customers have started to receive emails confirming their data was stolen in a recent cyber attack. Experts say a group known to impersonate employees was most likely behind the hack. The airline today still refusing to answer questions.
It's the email no one wants to receive. Qantas customers started getting this one last night saying, "We believe your personal information was accessed during the cyber incident we recently experienced." The data was stolen from a call centre in Manila through a third-party operator. It had the details of 6 million Qantas customers. How? By using sophisticated deception techniques.
They have most likely convinced IT administrators or employees of a company to give them access to what would otherwise be unauthorised data.
As to who, in the past week the FBI issued a warning that cybercriminal group Scattered Spider was expanding its targeting to include the airline sector. Both Hawaiian Airlines and Canada's WestJet have also been attacked recently.
Qantas is at pains to point out that no critical information such as credit card details, passport numbers, logins or PINs was stolen, but the criminals did get names, phone numbers, email addresses, birth dates and frequent flyer numbers, all valuable information that can either be sold or used for financial gain.
In many ways it is the keys to the castle for so many of the things we do in our daily life.
Qantas has a number of call centres overseas raising concerns.
I don't see why a big Australian company, the major Australian airline company like Qantas, shouldn't have its call centres and particularly sensitive consumer data housed here in our country.
Richard Valenti's company provides customer services such as call centres across the globe for a number of the world's largest airlines, but not Qantas. Humans, he concedes, can be the weak link in cyber attacks if not given the right training and technological support.
And that's where it's, again, incredibly important to work with the appropriate partners, but also implementing the right processes internally to mitigate that level of risk.
Qantas again refused our requests for an interview. Eddie Meyer, NBN News.
A man has died after contracting bat lyssavirus, the first ever case in New South Wales. It's prompted a warning from health authorities, as health reporter Gabriella Rogers explains.
Health authorities are worried enough to ask people to avoid touching or handling bats. The man in his 50s from northern New South Wales was bitten by a bat several months ago, but news today he passed away in hospital. It's the country's fourth fatality since 1996, so infections are rare but highly fatal. There's usually a long incubation period after being bitten or scratched. The rabies-like virus starts with flu symptoms but ends up attacking the brain and the central nervous system. A rabies vaccine or antibody injection can be given, but there is no effective treatment. People are being asked to leave any interaction with bats to wildlife officers.
Brett Button, the driver responsible for the Hunter Valley bus crash which claimed 10 lives, is appealing his 32-year sentence. Button is appealing on 3 grounds, including that his jail sentence with a non-parole period of 24 years was manifestly excessive. A hearing is set for October. Imagine leaving a luxury car with its keys in the ignition and on a busy street. That's how defence experts are describing the vulnerability of Australia's multi-billion-dollar military arsenal to air attacks in what is a new age of warfare.
As Ukraine's drone attack on Russian airfields shows, as well as Israel's targeting of Iran's ageing fleet of jet fighters, waging war is getting easier and cheaper.
A drone that costs less than $1,000 can wreak billions of dollars worth of damage.
Australia's most powerful combat assets with a very big weakness: exposure.
Unfortunately, Google Maps shows almost everything.
Take the Amberley Air Base in Queensland. Australia's fleet of C-17s are out in the open, as are the Air Force's KC-30 refuelers, 3 dozen combat jets, Super Hornets and Growlers, under what's little more than sunshades.
It would be like owning a Ferrari or a Lamborghini and then leaving it on the street outside of your house with the key still in the ignition.
Little better at the Williamtown RAF base in Newcastle. 50 of Australia's most lethal aircraft, F-35 stealth fighters, beneath these 7 non-hardened shades. At Tyndall in the NT, 20 F-35s kept under corrugated tin roofs. Over in Adelaide, Australia's entire submarine hunting P-8s on the tarmac at RAF Base Edinburgh.
We can learn a lot from the experiences of others, and I think there's still time to get our house in order.
Taiwan, which lives under constant Chinese challenge, keeps F-16s under concrete bunkers. Similar story in Norway. Their F-35s protected in reinforced dugouts. And whereas China has built an underground submarine base on the island of Hainan, Australia's fleet of subs can be plainly seen. Defence says protecting critical assets is a priority and that there are things to be learned from what's going on in Europe and the Middle East. But the ADF's counter-drone program isn't expected to be fully operational for another 7 years. Andrew Probyn, NBN News.
The SES is breathing a sigh of relief after a frantic couple of days across the Hunter and Central Coast. Weather conditions have eased, allowing volunteers to get on top of hundreds of call-outs, while evacuation orders have been lifted.
With the worst of the weather behind us, the Central Coast is now taking stock of the damage.
As soon as you've got any concerns, call us. Call us anytime, don't leave it.
The SES responding to nearly 700 jobs across the region over the last 2 days, most of which were tree-related.
Trees on roofs, trees on driveways, trees on roads, power lines brought down. It's been a wind event more so than a rain event.
And a warning for locals, more trees could fall over the next 24 hours.
The trees are quite heavy. They've soaked up the water from the rain that we've had. The ground is still saturated and soft, and often the winds that we've had has weakened them.
SES crews spent the day working through 100 outstanding jobs.
We've got six SES teams in the field, 11 RFS teams in the field helping us.
Ausgrid has restored power to hundreds of homes, and evacuation orders for properties at Wombrel and North Entrance have been lifted.
We are expecting the dangerous surf conditions to ease and the warnings from that, from the Bureau of Meteorology to be taken away. We are working with Council to ensure that any other remediation works are implemented as soon as possible.
Oyster farmers here on the Central Coast have been hit hard over the last couple of days, with many local suppliers having to pause operations until water quality improves.
When we have a big rain event like this, the river obviously closes, and then we have to wait till the salinity level comes back to a standard.
Lauren Evans, NBN News.
And the SES has also worked through its jobs in the Hunter, with nearly 600 reported across the region. That's almost half of the tally for northern New South Wales. The focus for local volunteers now, helping with the clean-up efforts further south.
2 crews out of Newcastle have been deployed to the Central Coast, and also a crew out of Lake Macquarie unit have gone down to assist out our colleagues.
Just under 200 homes are still without power, mostly around Lake Macquarie, but supply is expected to be restored tonight. Block the blockade. That's the message from Liberal politicians regarding Rising Tide's next planned protest at the Port of Newcastle. The City Council could determine its fate as early as this month, amid concerns about the impact on police resources.
A debate about a demonstration, instead turning demonstration about a debate.
We need to listen to the very sound and reasonable advice that is being given to us by law enforcement professionals and our state and federal government counterparts.
Let Rising Tide come here!
One local having their say as the Liberal Deputy Lord Mayor and federal opposition weighed in on the permit for Rising Tide's planned protestival at Newcastle's coal port. The politicians pointing to the 109 arrests made at 2023's rally and 173 last year.
This is not about climate action. This is about self-promotion for Rising Tide.
People are alarmed in the community about the climate crisis. The Liberals might not understand that, but that's probably why they're not in government at the moment.
Newcastle councillors will this month determine the fate of the proposed 6-day event from November 27, which includes a paddle out on the harbour, a music festival at Camp Shortland, plus camping at Richardson Park in Hamilton North. Council staff are currently reviewing a significant number of submissions. Rising Tide claims to have collected 1,000 in support.
We obviously do put in place a lot of measures to make sure that it's a peaceful and non-violent and safe event, and so and we believe that we have a good track record on all of those things.
2024's action went ahead after the Lord Mayor approved its relocation to Foreshore Park. That authority now watered down, and Ross Kerridge says councillors will receive briefings from both police and protesters.
There is a right to protest. That is a fundamental right within our democracy, and freedom of speech is incredibly important to us. But equally, the rule of law is also one of the fundamentals of our society.
Sarah Iuliano, NBN News.
There was some mid-year festive spirit at Belmont Golf Club today as hundreds of women donned Christmas in July attire for a good cause. Taking part in a lunch, raffles and games, the group raised funds for Cardiff support service Survivors R Us, which has recently expanded to help flood-affected communities on the mid-north coast.
We've had so many people in that need help. A lot of people going without food, cold through this horrible wet weather. So yeah, the demand's increasing all the time. Just on Monday we had 120 for breakfast.
It comes after a recent Vinnie's count revealed the number of people sleeping rough in the Hunter and Central Coast has increased from 188 to 215 in the last 12 months. Football players from the Hunter will compete in Brazil later this month, but none of them are human. Developed through a partnership called Newbots, the autonomous machines have been created by University of Newcastle students and AI specialists. Together they'll contest the Robo Cup, taking on participants from more than 40 other countries.
The main challenge is to get the software to work so that the robots act fully autonomously. So they have to localize to know where they are on the field. They have to vision to see the ball and the surrounds. They have to walk and behavior to stand up, kick the ball.
The Newbots team says the event is contributing to a new generation of machine learning. Let's take a quick look at the weather today as conditions ease off the Hunter. Temperatures up into the high teens. Coming up next in NBN News, a desperate search for survivors after a ferry sinks off Bali. Safe Work inspectors carry out a massive statewide construction site blitz. And we're live as Disney's Winter Wonderland comes to Newcastle.
It's the final week of Bedshed's up to 50% off stock take sale. Mattresses, bed frames, kids' beds and more. All up to 50% off. Ends Sunday. Bedshed. No one's better in the bedroom.
We don't like to show off.
We should never be so vulgar as to make a fuss.
But BritBox has gotten bigger.
What?
Better.
No way.
And prettier than ever.
You can't be serious.
That's impossible.
More new exclusive mysteries, dramas, documentaries, and comedies.
Remarkable.
More ways to watch.
No big deal.
More of your favourites streaming before anywhere else.
Isn't it amazing? Duh, yes.
But let's not make a scene, shall we? BritBox, the ultimate collection of British telly. Always better, now bigger.
Your home is precious, so are the things inside. And keeping them safe shouldn't cost a fortune. Quote and buy your home and contents insurance online with GIO, and you can save 10% on your first year premium. Get a quote today.
What's for dinner? A classic lamb roast or all wrapped up? Do the most with Coles Australian lamb leg roast. Whole or half, down to just $13 a kilo. With thousands of recipes online, what's for dinner? Coles.
The Nick Scali Lounge sale is on now, with up to 50% off leather and fabric lounges for every kind of home. That's affordable design for everyone. On now at Nick Scali.
No matter where you are, Bunnings Trade is here to help. Will call me up to put together a quote for him. We are here to help. We are just onto it.
I can call Trade Assist or I can just jump online. Doesn't matter how big the job is, they always get back to me with a quick quote. Trade Assist just works for me.
What a hotel. And only $370 a night on my favourite site.
What? You didn't check Trivago?
I got mine for $250. Check Trivago to compare prices and save up to 30%.
You didn't check Trivago?
Hotel Trivago.
With Light and Easy, you're cooking less, eating better and getting great results.
I have lost 102 kilos and I feel fantastic. I feel freer and fitter and just happier.
Live a healthier, better life with Light and Easy.
Northern New South Wales football premier competitions are back this weekend. Catch a match live and enjoy all the action. Details at northernnewsouthwalesfootball.com.au.
Ducks, hot water, built stronger to last longer.
Made in Australia for over 100 years, Ducks hot water systems are built stronger to last longer. Ducks.com.au.
Ducks.
The OMF end of financial year sale is on with $10 million of stock to clear. Save up to 20% on bedroom furniture and up to 60% on floor stock. Hurry, limited stock available. Sale extended at OMF.
Rapper and music mogul Sean Diddy Combs fell to his knees in a New York court today after learning he'll be spared life in jail. He was cleared of the most serious charges against him, but found guilty of 2 counts of transporting prostitutes.
Jubilation outside a New York federal court. Today's verdict means that wish could soon be a reality, and the Combs family were all smiles. Inside, the disgraced rap mogul thanked God. Sean Diddy Combs spared a life prison sentence, acquitted of all but the lesser charges against him.
This is like a celebratory type vibe and mood out here.
Prosecutors argued the former hip-hop mogul used drugs, money and financial control to force then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura to engage with male prostitutes.
She endured 10 years of abuse.
The 55-year-old may be violent, abusive and a drug user, but he is not a sex trafficker, according to the Manhattan court.
They saw through an overcharged, overzealous, kind of a crazy prosecution, and they did the right thing.
The most serious count was racketeering and conspiracy, with a maximum penalty of life in prison. Prosecutors needed to prove Diddy ran a criminal enterprise, using his staff to help carry out sexual trafficking. Yesterday, the jury was deadlocked on that count, but they made up their minds less than an hour after court began this morning. A major win for Diddy and his $10 million defence team.
It shows that the justice system does not work, because if you got money, you got power.
He was found guilty on 2 counts of transporting prostitutes, with a combined maximum term of 20 years jail. But it's unlikely the first-time offender will receive a sentence anywhere near that high.
What's the first thing you're going to say to him?
What's the first thing I would say to him? I love you, bro. That's it. I love you, bro. Give him a hug.
But he'll have to wait. The New York judge denied Combs bail ahead of his sentencing because of his past domestic violence.
And we're not going to stop until he walks out of prison a free man to his family.
For 7 weeks, Sean Combs' family has been supporting him here at the federal court. Today, immense relief. For P. Diddy, the prospect of life behind bars is now off the table.
Diddy is far from unscathed. He still faces dozens of civil suits and is now a convicted felon.
Cassie was comforted in knowing that not only has she played a role in the criminal prosecution, but that she has shined a light on this behaviour.
But will that behaviour lead to a prison sentence for the one-time titan of entertainment? He'll find out in October. In the United States, Lauren Tomasi, NBN News.
A ferry ride from Java to Bali has ended in disaster, with the vessel sinking, sending dozens of passengers into the water. Tonight, the official death toll is 5, while around 30 people are still missing.
A ferry carrying 65 people and 22 vehicles, tipping as it takes on water. Passengers yell out, their cries becoming more distressed as the minutes pass by and the situation becomes more dire. This was the final video filmed on the vessel that was travelling from Indonesia's main island of Java to Bali. There were 53 passengers and 12 crew on board when it set off. Within 25 minutes, it sank, going under just before midnight. 4 men managed to save themselves on the ferry's lifeboat. Everyone else was dumped into the Bali Strait. It sparked a huge search and rescue operation that continued past dawn. At least 30 people survived, some found unconscious after drifting in the water for hours, including this man. Suddenly the ship tilted and I jumped into the sea, he says. I found a life jacket in the water and floated in the sea until 4 a.m. But for dozens more, this was a tragedy. Locals lining up on the beach as bodies washed ashore. Amber Caneen, NBN News.
After days of record-breaking heat, parts of Europe are now being told to brace for heavy storms. The heatwave death toll has risen to 8, with fires still raging across Spain, Turkey and Greece. Around 14,000 people have been placed under stay-at-home orders in Spain's northeast. The White House has downplayed the impact of a recent decision to halt some shipments of critical weapons to Ukraine. Kyiv has warned the move will weaken its ability to defend itself and embolden Russia. US officials maintain Donald Trump still has robust options for military assistance. Newcastle Entertainment Centre has been transformed into a Disney wonderland for a show that delights the young and young at heart. Isabella Evans joins us now. Bella, what does this year's Disney on Ice have in store?
Well, Tash, everything from fairy tale classics to gravity-defying stunts. As we stand here outside the entertainment centre, hundreds of young Elsas, Annas, Mickeys and Minnies are arriving with their parents, their grandparents, and organisers say they're in for a treat. Here's a sneak peek of Disney on Ice Find Your Hero. It features plenty of favourites from Beauty and the Beast to Moana and one of Disney's newer releases, Encanto. Performers say they hope the show inspires kids to be themselves and love others. We caught up with one of those young Disney fans a bit earlier today, and her excitement was contagious, to say the least.
Disney is great, but I'm Rapunzel.
And tell me, what do you love about Rapunzel, Alira?
Because she has long hair.
It means a lot. It's actually one of my favorite parts about this job. It's the thing that I take away home every single day is I got to see so many smiles and audiences' faces light up.
So much joy to be had here in the coming days, Tash.
You look pretty happy too. Thank you, Bella. Well, still ahead in NBN News, scientists uncover a potential new ally in the fight against migraines. Princess Kate returns to public duties and a subject close to her heart. And the death of one of the familiar faces from our America's Cup win.
The Target Big Brand Toy Sale is now on. Get 20% off toys from favourite brands like Lego, Barbie, Hot Wheels and more hot offers. The Big Brand Toy Sale must end July 16. T's and C's apply. Shop now and get playtime right on Target.
Hey, Toddy! Todd!
Should have gone to Specsavers. Right now, get 50% off all lens options with any pair. Only at Specsavers. Limited time only.
What's that all about?
Breathe fire into your investments with Ramara. Earn 7.6% interest fixed for 12 months.
Good rate.
Hey, what's going on? Get back into it.
Ramara. Cash, credit and real estate funds in the palm of your hand.
The Nick Scali Lounge sale is on now, with up to 50% off leather and fabric lounges for every kind of home. That's affordable design for everyone. On now at Nick Scali.
When the lucky country isn't so lucky, it's
It's lucky you're with Amy.
Lucky you're with Amy.
Chicken breasts. So perfect. So versatile they can do anything. Like this and that. Oh, look at them. Now only $9.49 per kilo for a bulk pack. Aldi. Good different.
I'm Nat from O'Brien. These cracks all started as chips. Happens a lot. We replace thousands of windscreens, but a chip repair is faster, cheaper and greener. And with car insurance, your repair is usually free. Book today.
The Doorbuster sale at Doors Plus for 4 days only. Save up to 50% this weekend. And we can fit, paint, stain and deliver. Visit a showroom for a free measure and quote. At the 4-day Doorbuster sale ends Monday. Doors Plus, no fuss.
Go Harvey Norman for the new Ninja Slushie, the easiest, most convenient way to make frozen drinks at home. With 5 one-touch programs from cocktails to milkshakes. No ice, no blending required. Just pour, slush and enjoy. The new Ninja Slushie, now at Harvey Norman.
Join the adventures of your favourite Disney stars from Frozen, Moana, The Little Mermaid, and for the first time, Encanto. Disney on Ice returns to the Newcastle Entertainment Centre from July 3rd. Book now at Ticketek.
There are calls for men to be banned from the childcare sector in the wake of sickening abuse allegations against Victorian worker Joshua Brown. And tonight, there are new details about a man known to him who's been charged with 45 offences.
This is Michael Simon Wilson, an accused pedophile known to childcare suspect Joshua Brown, according to police. He's been charged with 45 offences, including rape, possessing child abuse material and bestiality. The 36-year-old is not a childcare worker, and his alleged offending is separate to Brown, but police have linked them to the same investigation. 70 charges laid against former worker Joshua Brown relating to 8 alleged victims. But given he was a casual worker, revelations the scope of this case may be larger than previously thought. A concerned mother has told Nine her child attended Papilio Early Learning in Essendon. On an official list circulated this week, it was claimed he worked there between February and May this year. But the mother immediately recognised the accused face in the media, despite her daughter attending in October and November in 2024. I went through the daycare app, looking through past uploaded pictures, and found him in my daughter's class on 3 separate dates from last year. Those dates weren't on the Victoria Police list, she said. I feel ill and guilty. She since reported this to Crime Stoppers and the National Hotline. It comes as families already impacted weigh up their legal options. While males only make up a small percentage of the childcare workforce, there are now calls for them to be phased out of the sector altogether. A survivor advocacy group believes that should be a priority.
It is extreme for one, but the thing is we're now seeing this is the 3rd case of huge amounts of children being exposed.
I don't think this is about gender, this is about child safety.
The Federal Education Minister promising change, revealing he has a personal connection to what happened.
One of my best friend's daughters is caught up in this, 2 of her little girls. She's burning with rage. We haven't done enough and we haven't done it fast enough.
Ollie Haig, NBN News.
Hundreds of safe work inspectors have been surprising employers across New South Wales this week as part of a massive compliance blitz. Tonight, we can take you inside the operation, which comes as the watchdog marks a milestone.
In the centre of the city, a soon-to-be 35-storey hotel, this construction site being scrutinised by a safe work inspector.
In the CBD, falling objects is a very large concern for us. We have very large buildings being built in very close proximity to the general public.
Given the green light as part of a 4-day compliance blitz, the biggest in a decade.
We're seeing one person die every week on a work site. One person too many, one person who's not at the dinner table.
So far, 99 sites have been audited. 74 have been issued compliance notices over the risk of a worker falling from a height.
It's a #1 cause of serious injury and incident, and it's a very common issue for us.
They're also looking for potential exposure to hazardous chemicals, including silica and asbestos, injury from vehicles or machinery, harms to healthcare and social workers, and psychosocial risks.
Safe Work has a whole regulatory toolkit right through from awareness, education, and then, the improvement notices right through to investigations and prosecution.
51 new inspectors have been added to the payroll, boosting boots on the ground as part of a system overhaul, beefing up Safe Work's powers and separating it from the state government. From this week, Safe Work New South Wales is now an independent regulator, a key recommendation from a scathing inquiry into the system.
A standalone independent regulator who's at arm's length and can go out and do their job and enforce the rules.
It'll be better for workers and it will ultimately be better for employers.
Sophie Upcroft, NBN News.
7 people remain unaccounted for after yesterday's explosion at a fireworks warehouse in California. 2 nearby homes were destroyed by the blast. Investigators are working to determine if the facility's owner complied with licence requirements. A near disaster in the US state of New Jersey after a skydiving plane ran off a runway. 15 people were on board at the time and survived. All were taken to hospital. The Princess of Wales made an incredibly personal visit to a hospital wellbeing centre in the UK. Kate speaking with patients and discussing her own difficult journey of recovering from cancer.
The Princess of Wales back to work and keen to get her hands dirty.
Am I allowed to not wear gloves? I'm not wearing gloves. No, I'm not wearing gloves.
The future Queen helping plant Catherine roses at a cancer wellbeing centre in Essex, where she opened up about her own very private experience. Describing her recovery as a roller coaster, while emphasising the importance of support centres for those on the cancer journey.
I've gone through it myself. You know how important it is, but sadly some people just don't have access.
The mother of 3 listened intently to patients' own stories, sharing a joke and a cuppa. Kate back to work after pulling out of Royal Ascot at the last minute 2 weeks ago.
This is a life-changing experience for both the individual patient and also the families as well. And actually, sometimes they sort of unrecognised.
A sentiment the Queen knows all too well, having supported her husband, the King, through his cancer diagnosis and ongoing treatment. Her Majesty also visiting a cancer support centre during hers and the King's trip to Scotland, praising the staff's invaluable work.
I'd just like to say none of this would happen without you.
In London, Jessica Millward, NBN News.
Chinese electric car maker BYD has extended its lead over rival Tesla in Australia. Australians bought more than 8,000 new BYD cars last month, a whopping 350% increase on the same time last year. 4 of the top 5 bestsellers were utes, with the Ford Ranger in first place and the BYD Shark 6 in 5th. Shares in Australia's biggest bank took a backward step today, but it's still head and shoulders above its rivals. Finance editor Chris Kohler explains.
It was a steady day on the share market, with BHP and other big mining companies surging alongside the price of iron ore, while finance stocks took a breather. CBA down 2% as investors question whether the bank is really worth this much. How much is it worth? A lot. This is the market values of the big 4 banks. CBA is above $300 billion, while the others are below $120 billion. All of a sudden, it's not really the big 4 banks anymore, but the big 1 and then the others. Stockbrokers pretty much all recommend selling CBA shares, but a lot of them have been saying that for a while, and the share price has kept rising. Finally, the Australian dollar is slightly lower tonight at 65.7 US cents, 55 euro cents and 48 British pence.
Eileen Bond, the first wife of business tycoon Alan Bond, has died. Her family says she's passed away after suffering a stroke on Sunday. The couple married in 1955 when they were both 17 and had 4 children before their divorce in 1992. Eileen became well known during Australia's America's Cup win in 1983.
The family was absolutely everything to her. And of course the America's Cup family was everything to her as well. There was so much love there and respect.
Eileen Bond, affectionately known as Red, was 87. A new study has shown the benefits of using a drug like Ozempic to help relieve chronic migraines. Health reporter Gabriella Rogers has the details.
About 5 million Australians suffer from migraines. Women are 3 times more likely to be affected than men. Untreated attacks can be extremely debilitating, lasting from 4 hours to 3 days. Avoiding triggers can help. There are also newer medications to relieve symptoms and prevent attacks. But there are still those who struggle to find the right treatment or who suffer in silence.
Migraine is one of the leading causes of disability, and there is no treatment that works for everyone.
There's new evidence an Ozempic-like drug called liraglutide is effective. A small Italian study showed after 3 months of treatment, the mean number of migraine days halved from 20 to 11 per month.
It's a very encouraging study that shows that there may be some potential here for a new treatment class.
While obesity is a risk factor for migraines, weight loss doesn't appear to be the reason why this medication worked. Study investigators believe it could be reducing pressure in the skull, but more research needs to be done.
Turning to sport now with Montanna. Claire Tan, the Blues have a special mission for Liam Martin.
Good evening, Tash. They do, and it could be the key to New South Wales winning the series. After the break, we hear from Martin as he takes aim at the Maroons captain. Plus, the NRLW season about to kick off, the latest on tonight's Sharks-Eels clash. And 106 points in 2 games, the Lions send another warning to the Wallabies.
Advance. It's a word shaping our way of life.
And coal, metals and minerals like those mined by Glencore help to make it possible.
Copper helps make ultrasounds possible, advancing health checks for growing families, even furry ones.
Coal for electricity.
Can help us never miss a big game moment.
Yes! Nickel and cobalt for mobile phones.
Help advance our budding filmmakers.
Hi! Nailed it. At Glencore,
we're advancing everyday life.
Your home is precious, so are the things inside. And keeping them safe shouldn't cost a fortune. Quote and buy your home and contents insurance online with GIO, and you can save 10% on your first year premium. Get a quote today.
Super specials have landed at Beaumont's end of financial year super sale. Prices slashed on every tile. Tiles for walls, floors, outdoor, plus super specials 50% off. Only at Beaumont's super sale.
Aldi's pre-marinated boneless lamb leg is so easy, it's impossible to mess it up. Butterflied lamb leg, now only $18.99 per kilo. Aldi, good different.
Head to Chemist Warehouse and save on big brands like Souvenade 125ml 4-pack assorted variants, $16.99 each. Neat Fit Natural Pain Relief Cream 50 gram, $21.99. And Hask Hair Care range, $9.99 each. Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day.
Toyota.
At Officeworks, we won't be beaten on price. Get this Acer 14-inch Aspire Lite laptop for $497 or an Acer Nitro 27-inch gaming monitor for $197. Make bigger things happen at Officeworks.
If it's boutique, delicious and unique, it must be Morpeth. Morpeth. Dare you to do it in a day.
With everything you need for your next camping and caravanning adventure, including all the big brands and great advice, it's the camping shop where campers shop. Camping Country, Warners Bay.
Are you thinking alfresco and looking for something simple? Call HV Aluminium.
Are you looking for something stylish? Call HV Aluminium.
Or are looking for ideas to design something stunning?
If you're thinking alfresco, call or visit HV Aluminium New Lambton, 1800 801 572.
Tonight's code word is pride. Enter at nbnnews.com.au for your chance to win.
Blues enforcer Liam Martin is on a seek and destroy mission in the Origin Decider, and his target is Maroons captain Cameron Munster. Martin admits he let him off easy in Game 2, and he's determined not to let that happen again.
The Blues coaching overlord was back with the team. Craig Bellamy's presence important. Both Nathan and Jerome were full of running. It's now commonplace to see the Blues headed. After training, he told 9 News he ran 4 kilometres at high intensity in his own private session. He says he's ready. The Blues are blessed in the back row. Liam Martin, often their forward leader. He's got a point to prove.
How personally do you take it when you hear Laurie Daly say Cameron Munster ran wild? I mean, that's part of your task?
Yeah, no, it is. Like I said before the game, like him as captain, I knew he was going to stand up, and it was probably my job to try and go after him a bit. But I feel like I didn't really do my role there, so definitely be looking to make amends for that in Game 3.
You can tell Martin is on a Munster mission.
That's your job as the back rower, to try and contain that opposing half, and I didn't do my job there. So I know he'll be looking to have a big game again. So yeah, I'm going to have to go up a level.
Do you hate him?
On the field I do. Away from the field, no qualms at all with mates away from the field, but yeah, on the field the hate's definitely there.
Martin won't be leaving anything to chance when it comes to the Queensland captain.
Yeah, I know he'll be doing everything he can next Wednesday, and so will I.
Do you ever think about your own health and your own safety?
Oh no, you do sort of have it in the back of mind, but I think you sort of have that team first mentality. You just do whatever you can for the team, and if that's just putting your body in front of a bigger body or doing whatever it takes, and then you do that.
Danny Weidler, NBN News.
He's earmarked as a future Blues star, but Mark Nwanganita-Waze hasn't ruled out wanting to be a Wallaby again. The Rooster telling NBN News he's in no rush to decide whether his long-term future lies in league or union.
Mark Nwanganita-Waze making sure his life-size promo poster is picture perfect.
Do you feel more comfortable on a footy field or modelling?
Definitely more comfortable on a footy field.
The Under Armour ambassador on show next to an NBA superstar.
How do you feel having your shot up alongside the likes of Steph Curry here?
I wish I could shoot like him.
The coat hopper has produced dunks Curry would be proud of and scored tries that have gone global.
I got messages from people all over the world that I know, and they've seen it. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and special to see like my nephews and that imitating me at home.
The former Wallaby adamant he doesn't regret giving up a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to face the British and Irish Lions.
I'm very happy with the decision I've made.
Signed with the Roosters until the end of 2026, Nwanganita-Waze has left room for a rugby return ahead of the 2027 World Cup on home soil.
How do you deal with all that chat now about your future?
Yeah, look.
Because it won't stop.
With people like you, it won't stop. But it's so far away that, man, it's nothing I have to make a decision on till the end of the year. For me, it's family first, so we'll see what's happening there, and I'll make a decision on that.
Cameron Ciraldo has blasted critics who have suggested signing Lachlan Galvin will derail the Dogs season.
It's probably the same voices who are doubting what we did now, doubted our recruitment strategy, doubted our forward pack, and doubted a lot of other things we did along the way.
The coach says he'll take to the streets of Belmore if Blues 18th man Jacob Kiraz debuts in the Origin Decider.
I'll be down there, I don't know, so it'd be awesome, yeah.
Zach Bailey, NBN News.
The NRLW season kicks off tonight with the Sharks hosting the Eels in the Shire. Emma Lawrence and Millie Elliott filed this preview.
Thank you very much. Yes, very excited for the NRLW season to kick off this evening. Millie Elliott alongside me in the studio. Millie, no doubt the Sharkies will be stinging from that loss in last year's grand final.
Yes, absolutely, they will be, and they've recruited well in the off-season. I'm sure they'll have a big game tonight. Plenty of players that have joined their roster, so they'll be in for a big one.
Now, Abby Church, the Eels fullback, coming off her debut for New South Wales. Are you expecting a big season from her?
Yeah, absolutely. She killed it in Origin. We saw her go from strength to strength in every game, and I think that'll give her plenty of confidence with the Parramatta Eels this year.
We've waited 9 long months for this. Can't wait. Coverage begins at 7:30.
The British and Irish Lions have put another Australian Super Rugby side to the sword, hammering the Reds 52-12 in Brisbane. The Lions have now scored 106 points in 2 matches. Their next clash is with the Waratahs on Saturday night.
As I've said to the players all week, it's a test match. You know, we're not playing a Super Rugby game or anything else. We're playing a high-quality test team. But they've got 2 arms and 2 legs, you know, and you just got to put them under pressure.
Andrew Kellaway and Taniela Tupou have both been released from the Wallabies camp in Newcastle to bolster the Tars lineup. Steve Smith is a confirmed starter for Australia when the second test against the West Indies begins tonight. But Captain Pat Cummins says he'll have to protect him in the field as he recovers from a dislocated finger.
Fielding still potentially needs to manage a little bit, so he might not be in the slips too often. Maybe for the spin he'll be okay, but quicks, might need to wait another week. So yeah, you might see him running around a bit more.
The skipper doesn't know what to expect from the pitch in Grenada, which has only hosted 4 previous tests. Olympic gold medalist Arissa True continues to break records in the world of skateboarding. The Gold Coast star claiming more gold in the X Games summer disciplines than any other female. Competing in Salt Lake City, the 15-year-old won the best trick contest, her 8th medal in the competition. Next, breaking through the pain barrier, Jordan Thompson advances at Wimbledon after a second straight 5-setter.
The Snooze End of Financial Year sale has been extended for 1 week only. Save up to 50% off selected mattresses and up to 40% off selected bed frames. Hurry, sale must end Sunday.
What a little snooze can do.
What could your next 12-day holiday look like with TripADeal? Save $100 per person on Warriors of China, now from $1,399 per person, including flights. Immerse in China's unique culture on this extraordinary tour. Discover Beijing's historical icons, witness the ancient terracotta warriors, walk the Great Wall and more. Plus, earn and use Qantas points on every booking. For bucket list experiences at unbelievable prices, search TripADeal now.
Alison!
And will she be back? She's not coming back. I found her on Facebook. Ow.
Tanner.
And now from Yui.
Yui, you insured.
Makeup hard to remove? Nothing cleanses like micellar. Try Garnier Micellar Water from Chemist Warehouse. Formulated with micelles, it helps remove up to 100% of makeup and residue to effectively cleanse your skin in just 1 swipe. Plus, it also hydrates the skin for 12 hours. Wipe away your day with Australia's #1 micellar water. Garnier Micellar Water is just $7.99 at Chemist Warehouse. Live, look, feel fabulous at Chemist Warehouse.
Anaconda's epic Stock Take Pay Less sale is on now. Gear up for the great outdoors with up to 50% off our huge range of clothing, snow gear, footwear, camping gear, bikes, fishing gear and more. Some exclusions apply. Pay less so you can play more during Anaconda's Stock Take sale. Anaconda!
Explore the new Everyday Collection by McDonald Jones with over 40 designs to choose from and all the little luxuries already included. It's inspired Australian living every day.
This report brought to you by Harvey Norman. Shop in store and online. Best brands, best range, best prices. Guaranteed.
In breaking news, there are reports tonight Premier League star Diogo Jota has died in a car crash in Spain alongside his brother. The 28-year-old Liverpool player married his longtime partner just last week. They have 3 children. Local media reports say the car came off the road in the country's northwest. 4 Australians are hoping to make the 3rd round of Wimbledon tonight, headlined by Alex de Minaur. Jordan Thompson is already through after a courageous win.
Jordan Thompson playing through pain in a second straight 5-setter.
People think that I enjoy them, but I most certainly don't.
Wearing a back brace and taking painkillers for an agonising injury, Thompson was struggling against Benjamin Bonzi, trailing 2-1.
I've seen snails move quicker than me on the court, so it's been really tough, but I've just been trying to take the game on.
His aggressive attitude worked. Thompson fighting back to win the last 2 sets, moving into the 3rd round.
It's been brutal. Winning the last point helps, but it's more the relief of that I don't need to play another one. I get to, just sit down and relax because it's been super tough on my body and, I haven't really been enjoying it that much.
Oliver Tarver definitely enjoyed his time in the spotlight. The world number 733 bringing his best against defending champion Carlos Alcaraz.
Not going to get that one. Every inch
inch of centre court cover.
Carlos, too classy in the end, winning his 20th straight match in straight sets.
When I step on the court, I'm just trying to enjoy. It doesn't matter if I'm winning or losing.
Women's number one, Arina Sabalenka, moved through with ease, but there were more top players to hit trouble. Last year's finalists Jasmine Paolini and men's 12th seed Frances Tiafoe, both surprise losers. Luke Duffy, NBN News.
There's now officially a date locked in for Northern New South Wales football's All-Stars clash against the Newcastle Jets, with both the men's and women's matches to be played at Darling Street Oval on September 20. The representative squads will be selected next month.
From there on, it'll be a case of working with those clubs, working with those players to identify and to watch who's doing really well, and it'll be up to the coaching staff to rein that extended squad into a matchday squad of about 18 players.
Jets coach Mark Milligan is certainly open to including talent from the NPL, revealing Edgeworth goalscorer Ryan Foots will start training with the A-League squad next week. Last night's catch-up match between Maitland and Broadmeadow was plunged into darkness in the 87th minute, forcing officials to call the match a 0-0 draw. The Magic's run of injuries continues, with Luke Corcoran's hamstring giving way just before half-time. The cancellation of last night's Newcastle Rugby League catch-up match has given ladder leaders Wyong an extended break. The Roos have the bye this weekend.
Got the week off for us. Heal the bodies back up and get ready for, good 8-9 weeks coming into the finals.
After a sluggish start to the season, the star-studded Roos haven't lost in almost 2 months. After 7 weeks of preparing, the Knights women are now less than 24 hours away from kicking off their season. 3 debutants have been named in the side to face the Bulldogs tomorrow night, and a familiar face or two. A 3-time premiership winner, Tiana Davison, is loving being back in red and blue.
I never thought I'd be back in this position, so to be back here in Newey is just so special for me, and I'm super excited to get back out on the field with the girls. She's returned to the Knights after spending 2024 at the Roosters. Experienced fullback Boti Vedi Walsh, another addition to the starting lineup. Jules Kirkpatrick and Sienna Yeo are set to make their NRL debuts tomorrow night, while fellow rookie Jolie Morris will start in place of Olivia Higgins. The dummy half is serving a 1-match suspension following a hip drop tackle in a pre-season trial.
Jolie's, she's had plenty of experience. She got Harvey Norman Player of the Year playing that position, so she knows what she's doing there. She's not a makeshift, so we're pretty confident in how she'll go.
The Knights will take on the newest addition to the women's competition, the Bulldogs, at Accor Stadium, and they expect the 12th NRLW side to come out firing.
A little bit of an excitement and challenge all wrapped in one, not knowing what the Bulldogs are going to necessarily bring. I mean, we've only had one opportunity to see what they've got.
Meanwhile, Newcastle has also moved to shore up its ranks before the season starts. Tanika Willison extending her stay until the end of 2027. Sarah Baum's run at the Bolito Pro came to an end overnight, unable to get past the round of 32. The South African turned Novocastrian fell to Sally Fitzgibbons and French teenager Tia Zabrowski. And Newcastle's Lara McSpadden is returning to the WNBL, signing a 2-year deal with the Sydney Flames. The 26-year-old played overseas last season, spending time in New Zealand and the Czech Republic.
I think if I can bring what I've learned from the different experiences that I've had and add that to what I'm already very good at, then I think it's going to be a really good year for me.
The Flames season tips off on October 18. And Tash, that is our look at sport.
Thank you, Tan. Stay with us. We'll check the latest on the weather details right after the break.
Serena was killed by a P-plater who thought he knew better than the law.
She was my best friend.
A current affair next.
Experience next-level nourishment. Nivea body lotion now with pure hyaluron moisturizes for longer than ever. When our skin looks this good, we show up more confidently. New Nivea body lotion. Skin is for feeling it. Nivea is for skin.
I met this nice lady today. She gave me this pack of cards. She said it's a game, a very powerful game, designed to play with your family. to facilitate a deeper conversation.
Did you have to pay for it?
No.
Oh, score! Let's play!
Get together and have a tasty conversation. Live better with Medibank.
The Nick Scali Lounge sale is on now, with up to 50% off leather and fabric lounges for every kind of home. That's affordable design for everyone. On now at Nick Scali.
Attention Aldi shoppers, these aren't just low prices.
It's a sale!
It's not a sale. Our prices are just this low every day.
Yes, it's an everyday sale!
I think there's a sale.
No, it's not an everyday sale. It's just our price.
It's not an everyday sale!
It's not an everyday sale. No, there's no sale. There's no sale. Just low prices every day at Aldi. Good different.
Avita Motorhomes and Caravans, the longest-serving motorhome manufacturer in Australia, are celebrating 60 years since our humble beginnings. And to celebrate, we're introducing new 60th anniversary models with an exclusive 60-month warranty, roadside assistance and cap price servicing package. Drop in to an Avita dealer or visit avitarv.com.au and experience the RV lifestyle today.
The Doorbuster sale at Doors Plus for 4 days only. Save up to 50% this weekend. And we can fit, paint, stain and deliver. Visit a showroom for a free measure and quote at the 4-day Doorbuster sale ends Monday. Doors Plus, no fuss.
It's snow time! Mega snow play zones, awesome ice skating, giant ice toboggans. The cool stuff just keeps on coming. Hunter Valley Gardens Snow Time. Get your tickets now at hvg.com.au.
A help company would get people back on their feet, make complicated stuff simple, and even try to predict the unpredictable. So that's what we're doing. NRMA Insurance, a help company.
Well, a welcome switch to more settled conditions today across the Hunter and Central Coast as the damaging low-pressure system moved away. We're still copping strong winds and surf conditions remain dangerous, though, in parts. Clouds spiralling around a complex low continues to bring some gusty showers to eastern New South Wales, down through Victoria and into Tasmania. It's now WA's turn to experience some heavy winter rain centred on the southwest corner. Elsewhere, it's clear. Tomorrow, high pressure will build over eastern Australia to bring dry and settled conditions and a return to cooler nights in the southeast. A shallow area of low pressure over the Bight will maintain showers over southern WA. Well, it was nice to see glimpses of the sun today. Let's take a look at our top temperatures. Lake Macquarie topped at 19 degrees. Williamtown today, 13 to 18 was the range. Tocal, 18 degrees. In the valley at Singleton, 17 and 17 at Scone as well. Tomorrow, sunshine throughout and temperatures nudging up by a degree or two. I think we're going to enjoy our Friday. Newcastle 8 to 19 degrees on the way. Cessnock's looking for a range of 4 to 18. The night's still pretty cool. Singleton 18 degrees on the way. At Bulahdelah 18 degrees as well. And at Scone tomorrow a range of 3 right up to 17 degrees. Surf conditions scrappy as strong southwesterly winds continue to whip up the seas. They'll be up to 3 metres and a swell of 4 metres on the Hunter Coast. The morning low tide is at 8:48 and we have an afternoon high at 3:39. Looking further ahead, fine for the next couple of days, a medium chance of showers returning on Sunday. Some cloud cover in the valley, but mostly fine, and welcome reprieve on the Central Coast too, sunshine over the coming days. And that is NBN News. Good night.
Hello, I'm Ali Langdon. Welcome to A Current Affair. How do you move on when you feel justice hasn't been served? The simple answer is You can't. Just ask those who loved Serena and Craig. The pair died in a reckless driving accident. So how did the teenager who killed them escape jail?
He needs to be punished for what he's done.
We're the one that's missing her every day.
At 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock every day, Serena Drury would call her mum Betty.
It's absolutely devastating for her because that phone call doesn't come.
She was my best friend.
And every Sunday, Serena and Craig Day would visit her parents, Colin and Betty, for dinner.
And this particular Sunday, when she died, I didn't come home.
On that Sunday in July last year, their car had been hit by a 19-year-old who drove straight past a giveaway sign.
I didn't know where that was.
At 55 and 54 years old, Serena and Craig lost their lives. But the teenager responsible gets to live out the rest of his. He won't spend a day behind bars.
He got off scot-free.
He's got a future. We've got nothing.
Serena was the local florist. Craig, her close friend of 7 years, a third-generation truck driver.
He always used to help her in the shop.
They both lived in Tuggenwall on the Victorian-New South Wales border. Craig was a country boy through and through. He'd been driving trucks since he was 21, a hard worker who loved his dog, his home, and Serena.
They lent on one another a bit.
Serena was known around town as the Flower Lady, but to Kevin McCumsty,
I've always called her Reenie.
And losing Reenie was like losing a daughter.
Doesn't matter, if you're feeling a bit down, you go and see Reenie and you'll be soon cheered up.
An old family friend of the jury's, Kevin's been by their side since the crash.
Colin and Betty are both in their 80s and they're lost.
Kevin lives just a kilometre down the road from the intersection. You have to drive past that intersection every day.
Yeah. Shit, we miss her.
On the day of the crash, Serena and Craig were in his Toyota Hilux.
When this guy came through the giveaway sign and ploughed into him, Craig was in the passenger seat beside her that got hit first.
They were hit and pushed metres by a Ford Ranger driven by Bart Moore. At the time of the crash, Bart Moore was on his provisional licence, or P1s. In New South Wales, you hold that licence for at least 12 months. But even with his little experience on our roads, Moore thought he knew best. On that Sunday afternoon, Moore drove straight through this intersection. He'd later tell a court that he'd never seen a car here before, and that's why he thought he didn't have to slow down.
Just surmising that there's not going to be anyone there, that's ridiculous.
There's nothing restricting his view.
Reports tell of a young man who sat and sobbed in an Albury court. It's reported Judge Jennifer English was told how Moore tried to help Serena and Craig out of the wreckage, but they were pronounced dead at the scene. The court heard while slumped on the roadside. Moore said, "I've done bad. I want my mum."
We have the worst road toll since 2010.
Now a 20-year-old, reports say Moore held his head in his hands while victim impact statements were read in court. Craig's sisters saying,
"It's a hole that can't be filled. I'm broken. Counselling doesn't fix it, nor does a bottle of wine.
Our family has been shattered by the recklessly dangerous actions of another."
During the hearing, it's reported that Moore told them, "I'm disgusted in myself because I've taken 2 innocent lives."
If he was a bit remorseful, he'd call round home and say sorry, or even make a phone call.
Kevin and the juries aren't buying Moore's remorse, not after they say he smiled in court upon hearing his 3-year jail sentence would be spent supervised in the community. His guilty plea gave him a 25% discount. So, for causing the deaths of 2 people, Moore must receive psychological treatment, abstain from illicit substances, and not drive for 3 years.
He should have been locked up in jail.
There's no question in my mind that that should have been a custodial sentence.
Victims advocate Howard Brown.
We have to protect the community from people like Moore.
On that Sunday in July last year, reports say it wasn't the first time Moore recklessly drove at a give-way sign.
He'd been booked previously for disobeying a give-way sign. He had been booked previously for exceeding the speed limit. Clearly, this young man is impulsive. If we were to take him into custody, we can tailor programs around his needs.
In sentencing, Judge English said custodial sentences could have significant damaging consequences on vulnerable young offenders. In Howard's eyes, Moore's an adult.
By the time he was sentenced, he was actually 20 years of age.
The families want to appeal. While they wait, it's just photos left to remind them of the love they've lost.
I want people to see who was killed here and to remember it, and for God's sake, slow down.
God, those poor families have gone through it. It's so unfair. And we did reach out to Bart Moore, but he wouldn't comment. You're going down one way or the other. It's the warning from one of the most famous mobsters in the world to young criminals in Australia. Michael Franzese knows. He spent nearly a decade in prison before walking away from the mafia. He's had a contract on his life and reckons he knows what really happened to JFK and Jeffrey Epstein. So tell me, when you think of everything that you know and everything that you've done, how the hell have you not been whacked?
Why does always ask me that question first?
Michael Franzese once lived a very different life. Part of the Colombo crime family in New York, he had 300 men willing to do anything he asked of them. And at the height of his power, he raked in $12 million a week. So why is it that you are allowed to talk about it? Because I know silence is sort of part of the oath that you swear when you join the mafia.
We're not only part of the oath, it is the oath. You're not even supposed to admit that the life exists. And obviously a lot of guys have broken that. But, you know, the bottom line in all of this is, have you hurt anybody? Did you testify against anybody? Did you put people in prison? And the answer for me is no, I didn't.
You're not here to glamorise that life you once lived, more so as a cautionary tale in some ways.
I don't glamorize the life. It's a bad life because I don't know any family of any member of that life that hasn't been totally devastated, including my own.
You kind of know where it ends, doesn't it? Typically, it's jail or death.
Absolutely. I mean, look, everybody that I ran with, without exception, dead or in prison. Every single one of them.
You rose through the ranks of the Colombo crime family in New York City. You became a captain. What was that life really like?
You know, to me, I took that oath. I wanted to be the best possible mob guy I could be. You know, people say, you know, it's a corrupted life. I said, give me an organization that's not corrupt. Our government can be corrupt. The Catholic Church can be corrupt. Everything needs reform.
But there's corrupt and there's corrupt.
Yes,
right.
But I can tell you this, the principle behind the life is not bad. We're honorable, we're respectful, we tell the truth to one another, we do business the right way, we're good to women and children. That's the code. Now, is it corrupted? Of course. I'm not making, you know, light of that. Do people get killed? Yes.
Did you ever pull the trigger?
Why do you ask me that? I can only tell you this. Look, it's a violent life. You're involved in the life, you're involved in the violence. You know, to what degree, you have to wonder about that. But
why not answer it directly, yes or no? Is it a fear
I don't like
of
to
going
answer
back
it.
to jail?
Number one, I don't like to answer it. Yeah. Number two, it could be misconstrued, the wrong way. Listen, I didn't cooperate. I didn't get immunity for anything that I did in the past. A lot of guys that cooperated, they have immunity. They could have killed 100 people. Doesn't matter. I'm not in that position.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I killed 100 people, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying.
And you had Nicky Eyes.
What's up, guy?
And Mikey Francesi.
I saw that guy, yeah, I want to see him.
How do you get the message across, though, to, you want to be gangsters when they see how it's portrayed by Hollywood?
Well, that's the problem. You know how many young people I speak to in gangs? And they say, come on, Michael, I saw Goodfellas. You were in that movie, my character. And I say, yeah, but did you stop looking at the movie halfway through? You didn't watch the end. Who got killed, who went to jail, who broke up with their family. They don't see that. They only see the money, the power, and everything else. It's crazy.
So we have an issue here with tobacco wars, drug wars. You've got a lot of, wannabe gangsters running around with guns and a lot of innocent people caught in the crosshairs. What's your advice to them?
You're out of your mind. You're going down one way or the other. Either you're going to get killed by your own, you're going to go to jail by law. You don't last in that life. And a lot of these groups today, they just look at things different. They don't care who's in the street. People do get killed. They do get hurt. You could say what you want about us, but we didn't do that. Our neighborhoods, our communities, we protected people there.
Hey, Left, you want to tell me where we're going?
I got sent for.
So what does that mean, you got sent for?
What does that mean? What do you think it means?
You were sent for. Can you explain what that is?
One of those meetings where you walk in, you don't know if you're going to walk out.
Okay. So you walked into that room thinking, all right, this is the end. This is where I die.
Yeah, I had to walk about 30 yards to a basement apartment. When the door opened, I don't know how I didn't faint. When people say, why didn't you run? Yeah. I was so much a part of their life. I said, hey, if this is it, this is it.
So you were meant to be killed that day, and you weren't. But this is the bit I can't get my head around, is that your father knew it was going to happen, and he didn't try to stop it. And he's probably one of the few people who could have as the underboss in that family.
Yeah, it was a defining moment in my life because my father could have done a lot more to prevent that situation. He didn't cause it, but he didn't do much to stop it. And that, for me, was very hurtful. Very hurtful.
Did you hate him for it?
The strange thing, I love my dad. I didn't hate him at all. I just, I understood him. Yeah. I know that's crazy because he was a good father to me. I know he loved me, but he had this thing.
Michael's father, Sonny Franzese, was a ruthless mobster, the second in command of the Colombo family. Is it true that your dad was in a relationship with Marilyn Monroe and that upset the Kennedys and they put the FBI onto him?
My dad had a tendency to embellish things, but I believe that to be true. It all made sense. When he wouldn't tell me until after my mother passed away. He didn't want to be disrespectful. But when he told me and I put two and two together, it sounded right, yeah.
So what happened to JFK?
100%. The mob was involved in that hit.
Yeah.
I believe it was set up by the CIA or the government agency, and like they did before, they came to us several times before, they wanted our help, and we did it.
Yeah. It was the government that eventually took down Michael in the 80s for his involvement in a gasoline tax fraud scheme.
Arrested by the FBI on racketeering charges.
So of the 8 years you spent in jail, 29 months in solitary confinement. That is brutal.
Difficult, very difficult. I saw a lot of guys that not do well, and I don't demean them for it, I get it. I'm totally against it for young people. It'll destroy them emotionally. But I got through it. It was hard, honestly.
You were in the same prison as Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes.
What do you think happened?
Jeffrey Epstein would have to be a magician to try to hang himself in that cell. I was in that cell. There's no way there's nothing on the ceiling. Yeah. The bedpost is this high. I couldn't even go to a restroom without them walking back and forth and having me on camera. There's no way he committed suicide.
So you reckon he was killed?
Yeah.
Why?
I believe that. I mean, look, there's no doubt there was powerful people involved with him, 100%. These people have a way of covering things up.
How did you turn it all around? Why did you decide to get out of the mafia and this wasn't your life?
I met a young girl, And I didn't want to put her through what every other family goes through, so I had to make a choice. It was either her or the life, and I chose her. And we're married 40 years, so I think it was the right choice.
She stood by you during your time in prison?
Stood by me through 8 years, through contracts on my life, government all over me trying to get me to cooperate. She went through it all.
See, there you go. Love conquers all in the end, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yep, it doesn't even a life of crime, it would seem. It was a great chat, and Michael speaking to her begins in Sydney on Monday, then Melbourne on Wednesday. You can grab tickets on his website. Next, it's the healthy food Bible plenty swear by, but have we been fooled this whole time?
Whole grain, no artificial colours or flavours. What's the truth?
The truth is
It is go time.
I got you something that
Your class,
you can't forget.
your speed.
Keep them guessing like they never know what comes next.
Huge shot.
Say yes, say yes.
Give her an inch. Chapman, how did she do that?
The massive new season of NRLW starts here. Sharks, Eels, next on 9 and 9 now.
Try Hungry Jack's new Bacon Gravy Whopper. Flame-grilled Aussie beef, sizzling bacon and rich, rich gravy. Part of the new Aussie Pub Classic range. Cheers, legends. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
The Nick Scali Lounge sale is on now, with up to 50% off leather and fabric lounges for every kind of home. That's affordable design for everyone. On now at Nick Scali.
Take on the next chapter in the inline-6 hybrid Mazda CX-60 Pure with exhilarating power and dynamic performance. Now from $53,990 drive away. Inline-6 hybrid Mazda CX-60. Look forward to it.
Life's always changing. Now your extras can too with HCF's Choose My Extras product. You get to choose 4 extras and swap your unused extras as you need. That's big.
That's huge.
I know. It's good value.
Bring the family together over a delicious, tender Steggles family roast whole chicken. On special this week for just $4.50 a kilo. Save $2.50 a kilo. From the fresh food people.
The Amart End of Financial Year sale has been extended. Last chance to save 20 to 60% off absolutely everything store-wide. That's 20 to 60% off our entire range of furniture. Sale must end Sunday at Amart.
Adventure's calling. Time to explore more, camp more, carve around the mountain more, fish more, hike more, get out and hit the trails more. Play more, pay less with our 10% price beat guarantee.
Anaconda!
Newcastle retirees, your next move awaits. A brand new release has arrived at Shortland Waters by Aveo. Modern 2-bedroom Gulfside villas within a thriving retirement community. Set against green fairways and natural bushland, this is the perfect place to embrace a relaxed lifestyle with premium facilities at your doorstep. Display villas are now open. Book your tour today.
You push yourself to perform. So do we. For over 25 years, investors have trusted Trilogy funds to maximise income while preserving capital. So for income performance, invest with Trilogy funds.
We're here for the dreamers, the morning ponderers, the neighbourhood wanderers, the sample hoarders, the concept boarders, the curious display explorers. However you dream, there's an outback patio for you, made with 75 years of Stratco how-to.
It sure is dry out there, mate. Whew.
Should have gone to Tank World.
Tankaroo deals on our best-selling 23 650-litre tank, now $25.45. Sale for 10 days only at Tank World.
Join the adventures of your favourite Disney stars from Frozen, Moana, The Little Mermaid, and for the first time, Encanto. Disney on Ice returns to the Newcastle Entertainment Centre from July 3rd. Book now at Ticketek.
Let's see if these weekend warriors know what they're doing. Okay, lift her up. Oh, Rob's got my shorts!
Mitsubishi's most capable ute ever. Nothing can frighten a trot.
Gone too far. Drop it down a bit.
There's a 5-star rating for just about everything: food, appliances, customer service. But how much can we trust it? When it comes to what we're eating, experts say it's all spin.
Australian families have been sold a lie. The system is broken. We need to call it out for what it is, loaded with sugar and definitely doesn't belong in the lunchbox.
Highly rated but falling short.
Families are being misled and they are thinking that ultra-processed products are healthy when in fact they need to be avoided at all costs.
If it's claiming to be nutritious or healthy, it's probably not nutritious. It's probably not healthy at all. It's just marketing.
Australia's Health Star rating system is supposed to be a quick and easy way to compare nutritional value of similar foods. But paediatric nutritionist Mandy Saker says it's a disaster.
We are eating processed ingredients which are being disguised as healthy snacks.
So misguided is the current rating, Mandy is crunching the numbers herself in her own rating system, the Real Food Rating.
It goes from best all the way down to avoid. I am rating foods based on the latest science.
And the results are wildly different.
You can see how broken and flawed the system is. We are looking at muesli bars, which in my system get 1.5 to 2 stars. And on the Health Star rating, they are getting 4.5 stars.
The government-led star rating has been used in Australia for more than 10 years, but food manufacturers and retailers are the ones responsible for the correct and accurate use of the system, and it's not compulsory. A product will get more stars if it includes protein, fruits, vegetables and nuts, and will get less if it includes sugar, saturated fats and calories. That makes sense, but it doesn't take into account added processed ingredients.
It means that companies can essentially game the system. So, for example, they can add protein or fibre to products to get more points, even if that product
Philip Baker is a senior research fellow at the University of Sydney. He says the current system needs to be scrapped.
Just to do away with it, to start again, and adopt what is being shown to be successful in other countries, which are these front of package warning labels.
Mandy's free Real Food Rating has judged all muesli bars on the market.
What are some of the worst offenders? Here we have very popular Milo bars. In the ingredient list, you will see different forms of sugar mentioned 9 times. And how many health stars did that get? This gets a 3.5 because it's dipped, and the original gets a 4. And I would recommend not putting this into a kid's lunchbox for good concentration and gut health.
Mandy says the companies that have poor star ratings often leave them off the packaging.
We need to have a system that is compliant and parents can use as a guide. So if a brand's getting a low health star rating, they shouldn't simply decide to leave it off the packaging.
I mean, this one says whole grain, no artificial colours or flavours. What's the truth?
The truth is, in this product, you are getting 0.2% yogurt powder and 1% strawberry puree, and a whole list of hydrogenated fats, emulsifiers, processed carbohydrates and modified starches, and the list just goes on.
Some of the best options don't have stars either. Change is supposed to be coming next year to the Health Star system, with more scrutiny and a push to make it mandatory. But until then, Mandy says shoppers need to have their wits about them.
It's really a marketing game more than a health food game, isn't it?
That's correct. No one is actually thinking about the health of our children.
If it includes ingredients that you wouldn't use in your home kitchen, things like flavourings, colourings, emulsifiers, I would also put it back on the shelf. Don't buy it.
So it sounds like we really need to start over. You can find Mandy's ratings online. Coming up, the Aussie sisters who created a bedtime classic, but now they've been duped.
You know, 24 years of, blood, sweat and tears.
red meat processing is part of our town's story. By employing hundreds of locals, red meat processors are supporting our farmers, truckies, butchers and the community now and into the future. There's more to meat than meets the eye.
I'm snapping nice, saying cheese, so they get inspired about that.
Now let's talk about the craft of saving. Oh, fancy. And Michael, who's perfected it by switching his car insurance to Yui, he saved $355.
Ka-ching.
Shop around. Try Yui.
Yui, you insured.
At Terry White Chemmart, we're dedicated to keeping busy people moving.
Okay, are we ready?
Book your flu vaccination today.
Oh, it doesn't even hurt me.
Terry White Chemmart, dedicated to care.
The Amart End of Financial Year sale has been extended. Last chance to save 20 to 60% off absolutely everything store-wide. That's 20 to 60% off our entire range of furniture. Sale must end Sunday at Amart.
Europe is on sale with Tripadeal. Save $300 per person on Spain, France and Italy all-inclusive cruise. Now from $5,499 per person, including flights. Set sail with NCL from Barcelona and witness the stunning French Riviera. Discover timeless Rome and more. Plus, earn and use Qantas points on every booking. Hurry, sale ends July 17. For bucket list experiences at unbelievable prices, search Tripadeal now.
It's Super Cheap Auto Super Sale. Club members save 40% on selected big brand engine oils, plus 15% off Century Automotive and four-wheel drive batteries. Make it super. Super Cheap Auto.
So, Robbo's dropping by later.
DeBricky.
Isn't he a mountain climber?
He's the real Iron Man.
He drives a BT50, right?
Yeah.
The Nick Scali Lounge sale is on now, with up to 50% off leather and fabric lounges for every kind of home. That's affordable design for everyone. On now at Nick Scali.
We can see more of the world than ever. With Bridgestone Tech Check, you see what needs repairing now and what can wait, so you can go with confidence. Bridgestone Select Tyre and Auto.
Fantastic Furniture's biggest end of financial year sale has been extended. Thousands of sofas, mattresses, beds and more are still on sale. Hurry, it won't last forever. Shop in store or online. Find your fantastic.
Well, girls and boys, it's been another very exciting day for our friend Big Dog. Lots of adventure and fun for everyone. But now it's time for Big Dog to say goodnight. Good night, Big Dog. Good night, girls and boys. Sweet dreams.
Tomorrow night, Start Up, Bust Up.
The Aussie sisters who created Flat Out Bears and built a successful business.
24 years of blood, sweat and tears.
Now they're flat out angry because of German giants selling cheap knockoffs.
And then this is the dupe. That's the dupe.
And we'll have that tomorrow. That's our program. I'm Ali Langdon. Thanks for your company. Enjoy your night.
This program brought to you by Telstra, wherever we go. Macca's new McWings. Yui, everyone on our team is on yours. The Kia Tasman, here now. Westpac, bringing the footy. And Harvey Norman, best brands, best range, best prices, guaranteed.
Women's rugby league is pure footy.
It's a sport and it's a product all of its own.
We have a lot of heart. The girls leave everything out on the field.
I don't even know where the product's going to get to because it just keeps getting better every game we see.
Where we are today is amazing, but I know what is to come is going to be even better still.
The best versus the best, and that's an inspiration. Young girls in this country need to be inspired.
Oh, this is extraordinary! That is spectacular! Flying through the air for one of the tries of the year.
In women's sport, we always talk about the fight, the relentless pursuit, the mistakes we've made and the lessons learned.
And this is 100% drill.
But a feeling like this makes it all worth it. That's what these women are chasing, that indescribable feeling in October.
They are premiers in the NRLW.
This year, it truly is the best of the best. And the comp, well, it's wide open. Superstars wearing new colours. The Dogs join the party. The Wars are back and Olympic talent are crossing codes chasing rugby league glory. NRLW like you've never seen it before. Every game, every minute, every moment right here. Live and free on Nine's wide world of sports. The NRLW in 2025 with the best in the business. Nothing compares to this.
How good. Thank you, Millie. We've all got goosebumps after watching that. And what a way to kick off season 2025. It is the Sharks up against the Eels, and they get to do it at home in Cronulla. Now, the fans have waited 9 long months for this moment, so it is absolutely no surprise that they are flocking through the gates to get another glimpse of their heroes. I'm Emma Lawrence, and it is so great to have your company, not just this evening, but all year long here on your home of NRLW, Nine's Wide World of Sports. Now, as we just heard from Millie, we are creating history this year. For the first time ever in the women's game, we have a 12-team competition. So it is a very big welcome to the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, and also joining the competition once again after a 4-year hiatus, the Warriors. They are joining powerhouses of this competition like the Broncos, defending premiers, the Roosters, and 2-time premiers, the Newcastle Knights. So, how will it all work this year? 12 teams means an 11-round regular season. That includes Magic Round for the first time in Newcastle in round 5. And then come finals time, 6 teams will be battling it out across 3 weeks, of course, all culminating in that first weekend in October. So essentially more teams, more matches and more excitement. We've got you covered for every single minute of the action, live and free on 9 and 9 now. So, who is going to lift this premiership trophy? Well, the Roosters are heavy favourites to go back-to-back, but you'd imagine the Sharkies are out for redemption after falling at the final hurdle last year. So let's hear from one of their stars now. Emma Veron is with Paul Gallen.
Emma, a heartbreaking loss in last year's grand final. Has that been driving the team this pre-season?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a bit of a sore spot, but we've got a new squad and the girls have been working really hard, and we're so fortunate to be back at Shark Park and really looking forward to round 1.
What about this Parramatta side tonight? Where do you see their strengths?
Yeah, I think they've got Abby at the back, who we saw at Origin. She was incredible, and Rachel Pearson, she'll steer them around well, and obviously Elsie up front. So I think if we can contain those 3, we'll be doing well.
Well, good luck tonight. Go get them. Thanks, Gal. Back to you, Emma.
Thank you, Gal. It is time now to say a very good evening to Millie Elliott and Alana Ferguson. Alana, can you try and put into words just how pumped you are for history to be made this year?
It's hard, isn't it, Em? I think Emma Veron's smile said it all, but also we're coming off such an incredible Origin series for the women, so very excited to rip into this NRLW season.
Millie, one of the best things about the off-season has been some of the movements, particularly for marquee players. I guess we cannot